Good morning, I'm Wayworn Worm, and welcome to my channel. And welcome back to the Monster Manual Backward, where today we talk about horses. So, before I get into it, what I want to talk about is mounted combat real quick. With all of the horses that we're going to be talking about, they're not intelligent creatures. So, if you were using them for mounted combat, you have to control them. And if you control them, the only actions that they have are dash, dodge, and disengage. They cannot be used to fight. They can't use their hoof attacks or anything like that. So, with that caveat, I will start the video. And we're starting this episode with the Draft Horse, which is a large beast, unaligned, armor class 10, 3d10 plus 3 hit points, a speed of 40 feet, 18 strength, 10 dexterity, 12 constitution, 2 intelligence, 11 wisdom, and 7 charisma. It has a passive perception of 10, no languages, challenge rating 1/4, and an action of hooves, which is a melee weapon attack that has plus 6 to hit, reach of 5 feet, 1 target, and on a hit it does 2d4 plus 4 bludgeoning. So, I just talked about horses in combat. A draft horse generally is not going to be in combat. Where you're going to find those are farms. Most farms will have a draft horse if they can afford it, to help pull the plows and such. And also, you can commonly find them on large wagons, like freight wagons. And why you would choose a draft horse over, say, an oxen is draft horses are faster. They're about as strong, but they can move faster. They're just more picky with their food, but that mechanically does not make a difference in D&D, although it does in real life. So I would not have draft horses be in random encounters. However, if the party was at a farm or there's a random encounter of a large trader or a freight caravan or something like that, then I would just assume that draft horses were there. And I would only imagine them getting in combat if they're attacked. Draft horses aren't really a thing that you find in the wild. So if your party's going through the wild and comes across a draft horse, well, that probably means it escaped from a nearby farm or freight caravan, and there's probably bigger things to worry about than the horse itself. But let's move on to the riding horse. And moving on to the riding horse. A riding horse is a large beast, unaligned, that has an armor class of 10, 2d10 plus 2 hit points, a speed of 60 feet, strength of 16, 10 dexterity, 12 constitution, 2 intelligence, 11 wisdom, and 7 charisma. It's a passive perception of 10, no languages, challenge rating 1/4. It has a hoof attack, which is a melee weapon attack, plus 5 to hit, reach of 5 feet, 1 target, and on a hit it does 2d4 plus 3 bludgeoning damage. So, there's going to be a lot of riding horses throughout the game, but you're almost never going to need their stat block. The only time I would use their stat block is maybe the armor class, hit points, and speed, especially for people who ride into battle and such. But if they do so, remember, it has to be trained as a warhorse. Beyond that, the only other time I could think of is either if you're party decides to steal horses for some reason, which they could do, or if you need to have wild horses, I would probably use the riding horse. Yeah. So again, there's not a lot to this. There's not a lot to any of the 3 horse stat blocks, but they are good to have. And we are ending today with the Warhorse or Destrier. A Warhorse is a large beast, unaligned, 11 armor class, with 3d10 plus 3 hit points and a speed of 60 feet. Has 18 strength, 12 dexterity, 13 constitution, 2 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and 7 charisma. Has a passive perception of 11, no languages, challenge rating of 1/2. As the ability of trampling charge, if the horse moves at least 20 feet straight towards a creature and then hits it with its hoof attack on the same turn, the target must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the horse can make another attack with its hooves against it as a bonus action. And it has an action of hoof attack, which is a melee weapon attack, plus 6 to hit, reach of 5 feet, 1 target, and on a hit it does 2d6 plus 4 bludgeoning damage. There's a variant called Warhorse Armor. An armored warhorse has an AC based on the type of barding worn. The horse's AC includes its dexterity modifier where applicable. Barding doesn't alter the horse's challenge rating. So it has barding for leather, studded leather, ring mail, scale mail, chain mail, splint, and plate, which raises the armor class from 11 through every number up to 18. The one thing I have to say about the Warhorse is trampling charge has exactly what I've been looking for in the last couple of episodes with the attacks that knock the character prone. Because with the way I'm reading trampling charge is if the creature fails the DC 14 strength saving throw and is knocked prone, since it is still the horse's turn, the second part of it, the last sentence comes into effect. If the target is prone, check, the horse can make another attack with its hooves against it as a bonus action. So on that turn, it gets 2 hoof attacks. And then if the creature doesn't get up for whatever reason, on subsequent turns, that horse would make 2 hoof attacks. Or at least that is how I read trampling charge, and how I would parse that at the table. So, the big thing about the Warhorse is it is designed so that it can operate semi-independently from its rider. In real life, warhorses bite, they slam into things, they use their hooves, and one of the things that they do quite often, or at least did historically, is they spun around a lot, because that just makes it harder to hit both the horse and the rider if they are always in motion. So if it was like a hand-to-hand combat, the horse would still not be still. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of the Monster Manual Backward. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the next episode of The Stolen Land.